We've got the weir down at the Umzinyama Canal in a shocking state, peak to this man. We just have to ask ourselves, where is the budget for this? First of all, it's not on the capital budget. And even if you put it on there, I would suggest, having proposed a civic centre for the Bluff myself and got turned down, I could hardly see them in their perilous financial circumstances now approving something like this, which when it goes through all the tenderpreneurs will cost millions. So I'm sorry, I'm a realist. I'm not a negativist, I'm a realist.
And I just come in here also. Greg, right in the beginning when we were here having meetings, the first development that took place was in that hole there. Okay. And you saw what came out of that hole. They went in higher than that fig tree, indigenous tree, the dugger. And then they bought those 18,000 cubic meters, Greg was also there. 18,000 cubic meters of clay from Clearwood. Okay. The first we got the result we got, it was why this is being done, because the flora from Clearwood Racecourse was going to come in. No mention about these type of things. Right? We raped this environmental area. We killed everything off. The dwarf chameleons, whatever you want to find in there was raped. Okay, that's my first thing. Then the clay was dumped into that 7-meter hole where they found tires, as you say, in the 1950s. This was a dump site. I was allowed to play here. And it's 7 meters deep because I've pile drived here, okay, to the water level. Okay. And it was all dumped there. Then the city came and they covered this whole lot up. And here it's dug there. And the first thing I'm telling you was about the flora, the lilies. 2.5 years later now, do you know where the Clearwood nursery is?
Yeah.
Can you take me there and show me those lilies?
It's on private property, I can find out if you can go there.
Please. I want to go and see these lilies after 2.5 years. And I want to know what else do you want to take from Clearwood Racecourse. When it was, to us, was a G6 chrome situation there. From the curry stuff, the orangey stuff that flowed from there through Clearwood in those days onto the site of Clearwood. Listen, to me this was a big fast from the beginning. I've told you guys, from Tooele River, too much money, 150 k's back. You try to find it in the process, as Duncan is saying. Sorry, the whole idea was in the beginning for the flora. Then this whole issue changed because we took it off. I'm sorry, as Duncan says, I think you should do your homework. There are many other issues on the bluff here that have not even been solved. Kingfisher Creek is a dump, it's a drinking hole and a stagnant sewage water. Go and find out the sewage pump there. It's not even working. They have to come a honeysucker and take it out. When it overflows in that water. And our residents have to live around that area. So where in the heck are you going to maintain this? And also the bird hide that's going to go there, you're going to look over the spot again. And are you going to have a guard in that bird hide? We've got 2 guards at the Dutch Club, night and day. Are you going to have guards there to protect these people?
But finally, where's the logic in bringing so-called water lilies from Clearwood, because you want to preserve them ecologically, and destroying the ecosystem here? It was raped. Where's the logic in that? I think it's just beyond reality.
So in reality this was not pristine before we started on the site.
It's not pristine now.
It's not pristine now, but we're working towards making it a hell of a lot better than it was.
But if it's taken
It was covered in a number of alien invasive species.
2.5 years.
If you want to talk about alien, the whole bluff is full of alien. I've got them growing in my garden.
And we're
So,
using our Working for Ecosystems team as being
Okay, hold on. I called this meeting, so I'm
Yes, you need
curious.
to
Can I
keep
please
contact.
ask you? You've done your Qs, let's have the A's. Without interruption, let's be gentlemanly about it if you don't mind. Okay. Answers to the questions that were posed, please.
Okay. So the site was not pristine. It was recognized as being covered wall to wall in alien. Therefore the opportunity to actually create an environmentally more better environment existed. It was covered in an alien species called Lucina leucocephala. there's hardly any left now. We have the Working for Ecosystems team that has been working on this site for the last 2 years, removing alien invasive plants, and it is an ongoing contract that will continue to do that. So in terms of the management and long-term maintenance, that's also covered. In terms of the chrome issue in that, we tested the clay, yes, and the developers tested the clay. Both of the results of those tests were negative. It was negligible. They didn't find chrome, so the clay that was dumped there was inert and pure clay. It needed to be put on top of the landfill, which was a very permeable, that's as you picked up. No water collects here because it's a sand, it's capping material for a landfill. In order to create the wetland, we needed to put the clay there so that it created a waterproof skin. So what's happened there is the wetland that we are trying to restore, or not restore, create, perches on top of the landfill on a little waterproof layer. I'm not sure.
Can I just answer that quick?
I've got
Just quickly. Just
a question.
Okay.
I've got two questions. One being, where's the initial environmental impact report that was done here?
None was required.
Why not? Why not?
Because there were no listed activities that were triggered. We've got documentation from the Department of Water Affairs and the Department of Environmental Affairs and Tourism that confirm that this does not trigger the need.
Okay, that leads to my second question. You can't. How are you able to construct something from a written plan approved by council without an environmental impact report?
I've answered that.
Second question. Am I right in saying that this was a site for dwarf chameleons?
That's correct.
Okay, so now we stuff up one environmental nice thing that was here. Took 2 nights of 4 hours a night, 8 hours to remove all the chameleons from this area, as claimed. So we've stuffed that ecological thing up. They live here. If you go read up on dwarf chameleons, they die. They live in the habitat where they're born. So all those chameleons that were removed from here are now gone.
They weren't removed, they were just relocated to a point just on the back there. So in other words, they didn't leave the site. They were moved from where the earthworks took place.
So we create an ecological, environmental, whatever you want to call it, to try and sort a clearwood lily out. That doesn't make sense to me. Why did Ward 66 get chosen to take that material from when actually we didn't want it? Why weren't residents informed of this?
We had a public meeting.
Before that, there was no public.
About the dumping?
No, there was not.
Yeah, but eventually, after you were out at that meeting, you were also present, of which we did conduct a public meeting.
After the dumping took place, until we found out. We found out about the dumping.
Of which at that time, there was an understanding of what we were trying to achieve here. It's all about trying to improve this environment ecologically. Yeah. Yes, you might be focusing just on one species, which were the dwarf chameleons, of which before anything happened, the team, they were our chair, they did search and rescue, of which it's an ecologically acceptable practice. And so all that we are saying is that we want to improve this environment, not just for the dwarf chameleons, but also want to bring in other species in this area for the benefit of the Bluff community. Greg is right. So obviously Tim is the project managing this. We had undertaken those years that we want to work on in this area, and actually that we will basically have it as part of our operational budget going forward. So I think from environmental planning perspective, we have that basically been taken care of.
That's all good and well, but how can we, number one, where's the budget coming from for this?
It's paid for already.
It's already paid for.
I'm almost 100% sure for this, whether Zoe agrees with me or not.
It was paid in the cutting contract.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, before this,
in the budget to maintain it?
maintain this all.
Well, that'll have to come from part of the
maintain it.
Okay, just before we go any further, just before
Sorry,
we go,
let me just finish the
finish
point I
yours
want
and
to
I
make.
want to answer the
Is we're creating something here that's not going to cost us 15,000 Rand a month to maintain. It's going to be an amount of money to maintain this properly. Surely that on this bluff at the moment, with places mentioned already, where that money should be used first to fix those places up and bring it up to scratch. If everything else on this bluff was working 100%, then I'd say fine, 100%. But we wasted. I don't see the point of us letting the rest go even further into whatever, and we're standing with this.
Okay, so if I can just say something here, I think that's technically a different budget there. So they're working with what they can. That's a different department. We can't force one department to lend to another so that we can bring it up. So they kind of, their hands are tied as to what they can spend their money on. They can't redefer it.
So they've got no other areas to spend money on the bluff. This department.
Just Greg, sorry, that's an environmental issue. Every issue that's brought up is an environmental issue.
Okay. Is it
These
the same
gentlemen should be
department?
seen to environmental issues.
Is it the same department that is responsible?
As I mean,
That's what we
environmental
gotta-
departments and environmental department.
No, they've got
There
a
should
couple
be.
of divisions.
Correct.
How many divisions are there?
Divisions. No, there's a couple of divisions. It's different categories. So let me just finish. We've got a situation here where it's half been started, and there's a situation. We've got to find a ground where we can finish this to an acceptable, whilst not creating a huge budget that's gonna be a problem in the future. This is where we stand, whether we like it or not. So we've all got to work together now to find an acceptable solution for where we are. We can't undo all of this, right?
It's undone itself. Push it
We've
back.
still got to find a situation where this is acceptable for the bluff. So we've still got to find
Find out
common
how many
ground.
people are bird watchers and then come and talk to us.
Now, can I just come in here, gentlemen? Right, you're talking about how it's created here and what we had in the beginning. What blows my brain is 2 million rand was given for the offset of this clay dumping. Am I right or wrong? Yeah. Right. And where did that 2 million go to? Did it solve our problem, or did we get anything out of that 2 million? No. It was paid back to the same contractors that came and put the